well. Raul Jimenez up front makes his bow. Full 11, Rui Patricio in goal. Back 3 left to right of Willy Bonny, Connor Cody and Ryan Bennett. Midfield 2, Ruben Neves and João Moutinho. What a pairing that could be. Johnny on the left-hand side, the wing-back. On the right, it's Matt Doherty. Jota and Costa supporting Jimenez up front. Bench is Enabakare, Gibbs White, Ruddy, Saiz. Also on the bench, Ruben Vinagre, House and Bonatini, the striker who impressed last season in the Championship. For Everton, Jordan Pickford is in goal. On the beach a couple of weeks ago in the Premier League today. Also in the back 4, Leighton Baines, Michael Keane, Phil Jagielka and Seamus Coleman. Morgan Schneidlin, Adrissa Ghana in the centre midfield. Gylfi Sigurdsson in the number 10 role. Up front is Cenk Tosun, supported on to his right by Theo Walcott, to his left by Richarlison. Benches Holgate, Sandro, Digne, Nias, Stekelenburg, Davis and Calvert-Lewin. 30 seconds gone. Listen to Molineux roar. They are loving being back in the big time right here in the Premier League. Not a single fan in their seat. They may not be for the rest of this match. They may not be for the rest of this season. The team has some defending to do here, though. Into the penalty area the ball goes, away from the head of Connor Cody, then helped further out by Wolverhampton Wanderers. An early corner for Everton away to the left.
Good chance for Everton. Put a little bit pressure on Rui Patricio. First game in the Premier League. I'm sure he's not at all nervous, very experienced, but again, good chance to get pressure on him.
Corner from the attacking left-hand side for Everton. Gylfi Sigurdsson, lovely delivery, one at the near post and headed up and away by Connor Cody. Down the right-hand side, they try and work it further away with Diego Jota. Challenged by Leighton Baines, and that'll be a throw to Wolves, which they take quickly. That is the way they play, on the front foot, all attacking, all the time. And they are attacking right now down the right-hand side, but surely that flag will go up. Ruben Neves with the first-time pass, but the runner on the far side was offside.
Definitely good decision, but you can see how fast they're breaking forward. They're even too fast for the Everton backline. They can't readjust, and they're really lucky. There's a lot of space in behind them for the exploit.
Wolverhampton Wanderers kicking from right to left as we look in this first half. Gold shirts, black shorts and gold socks. Everton from left to right wearing their home strip away from home. Blue shirts, white shorts and socks with numbering and trim also white. Bouncing ball to deal with away to the left hand side for Phil Jagielka, being challenged by Diego Jota. And that's thumped up in the air and away by Everton. Good pressing by the players of Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've won the ball back on the right hand side, coming forward now with Doherty, a little bit of space, running at Leighton Baines, knocked back into the path on that right hand side of Ruben Neves. Back to Neves again, took the Championship by storm. Lovely delivery here. In fact, it's maybe just too hard for Raul Jimenez, and for a second there I think Jordan Pickford was a bit concerned that could have been dropping in. It did hit the roof of the net.
Yeah, just one of those crosses that was a bit misplaced, dropped deep, a little bit over the crossbar. There's no problem for Jordan Pickford there, just seeing it over. But you can see two of these teams both frantically trying to press each other. We know that Marco Silva's team try to do the same, both playing on the front foot. And I think if we're waiting for this game to settle down, we might be waiting a long while.
Well, I hope it doesn't settle down. What a fantastic contest we have got here on the very first day of the Premier League season for these two teams. First time back in the big time for 6 years for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Bolly fires one down the line. It's going to be won by Phil Jagielka, but it's really good play by Jimenez. Good strong challenge to get Wolves back on the ball. Again, it's bouncing around between several players in the centre of the field. It will be picked up on the left-hand side by the Mexican striker, Raul Jimenez. 31 goals for Benfica and 120 appearances on a season-long loan from the Portuguese club.
Really good play by Raul Jimenez there. I think Jagielka was a little bit surprised that he sort of went to body check him, and Jimenez just stood firm and kept the ball in. Very surprised from him.
Showing great physical prowess up front, Raul Jimenez, something you are going to need in the Premier League. We'll talk that potentially they might do a false nine today, Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've got so many options. Leo Bonatini also last season was impressive in the Championship. Maybe can consider himself a little bit unlucky not to be in the team for the first Premier League game.
Yeah, of course. And I think in that midfield area, you'd like to think that Everton might have the numbers when they have the ball. They have that one-man advantage and might be able to pass it around. Wide areas are going to be very congested with both sides playing wing-backs.
Under pressure there, the Everton back line. They try and clip it out to this near side. Ball goes out of play. Right in front of Marco Silva, the Everton manager, wearing a black suit, white shirt, smart as ever. Starting a season with a new club once again, was the Watford manager this time in the last campaign. On the left-hand side, lovely bit of close control by Helder Costa, turning Theo Walcott inside and out before good defensive work by Theo Walcott to block the cross. It will be a corner to Wolves.
Yeah, very good defensive work by Theo Walcott. With his pace, there's no need to dive in. You don't need to be great at tackling or defending. As long as you stay on your feet and block the ball, put yourself in between the man and the goal, that should be enough.
Helder Costa, another from Benfica, originally on loan, now brought in back in January. That deal. Now teams like Tottenham being linked with him in the Premier League, but he stayed in the Championship and got the promotion as João Moutinho's corner is cleared away in the 6-yard box by Everton, then hoofed upfield, much to the delight of the Wolverhampton Wanderers fans, who don't often see their side do anything.
This corner there, you can see the crowd in the 6-yard box. They might have identified just a little weakness or something like the target in Jordan Pickford. They've put at least 6 players in that 6-yard box.
Apologies if you are having some intermittent sound from Molineux on our effects mics. It's so loud here. It is so loud at Molineux today. They are blowing our effects mics right around the ground. So apologies if you are getting some intermittent sound leakage from your speakers. We will try and fix that problem as the game goes on. We'll try and get the Wolves fans to calm down. I'll try my best. I'm not sure it's going to be possible today, though.
No, you can see they're excited by having the team back in the Premier League, and not just because they're back there, which in the past they'd probably just be happy to be there. Now they've made themselves into contenders. They're going to be pushing up in this league and being a real threat to the top half of the division.
That's the theory. That's what we thought about Fulham, and they were beaten at home today by Crystal Palace. Opportunity of doing just that today to Wolverhampton Wanderers. So throw to Everton around about the halfway line. Seamus Coleman will take it, edging his way over the touchline in front of Nuno Espirito Santo, wearing grey tracksuit top and black tracksuit trousers today. Can be a spiky character on the touchline. An infamous confrontation at Bristol City, where he also seemed to offer out half the director's box as well when he was sent off in the Championship last season. Colourful character, no mistake in that.
Did he have a little confrontation with Neil Warnock as well?
There was a few moments for Nuno Espirito Santo at the end of season where Warnock told him he didn't want to shake hands. I think let's put it that way.
Do you know what? I like that. I like that intensity about him. He's a real fiery character, but he really cares, and you can see he's got that bond with his players as well. Ex-goalkeeper, of course.
He was on the bench for when Porto won the, what was it, UEFA Cup at that point under Mourinho? Was he on the bench?
In the Champions League as well.
Yeah. Corner comes in here for Everton, but it's not a great delivery. It will be caught by Rui Patricio. What do you make of him as a goalkeeper, David?
Very good. You know, end of last season they're talking about 45, 50 million for him going to Napoli.
There might still be that kind of money, depending on if Sporting can get some money out of Wolverhampton Wanderers.
That's it, but if they do get him on a free transfer, it could be on the transfer of the season.
Great control there by Raul Jimenez, controls and found a release ball, but then the ball forward. Trying to find the overlapping run on this near side was far too heavy, and that goes out of play.
But you can see the intent that's coming from their manager. You know, he doesn't like to have possession of the ball just for possession's sake. When they get the ball, they're looking to go forward early, and sometimes they're just looking a little bit too early and the run's not there for them.
Under pressure, Pickford in his own 6-yard box, wearing fluorescent green, tries to find a ball outright to Theo Walcott, just behind the former Arsenal man, and that goes out of play for a throw-in to Wolverhampton Wanderers, just in front of their manager on the halfway line. Approaching 10 minutes gone here at Molineux on Premier League Live. 0-0 between Wolves and Everton. Fired crossfield ball, trying to find the run in the centre there of Helder Costa, just miscontrolled it. There will be a break at the other end now for Everton. Richarlison with a chance to run at the Wolves defence for the first time. He's turned back infield by Doherty. Everton, though, retain possession thanks to some smart decision making there by Richarlison. Now Gylfi Sigurdsson, second season at Everton, very poor in the first, injury problems. This time he finds a reverse ball to Leighton Baines, who's offside on the far side.
I'd like to see that from Wolves. You know, they kept a nice high line there, lots of communication along the line, and they're seeing the run going in behind by Leighton Baines. Just a step up from Ryan Bennett, easy offside.
Yeah, just to confirm, Nuno Espirito Santo, just going through my notes after we brought it up, was on the bench when Mourinho's Porto beat Celtic in the 2003 UEFA Cup final, and also when they beat Monaco in the Champions League final 12 months later. Not a bad playing career. Also, he got to watch it as well. That's quite handy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's great to be sub-keeper, isn't it?
And he got a medal as well, yeah.
And he got a medal? What a life.
But they obviously like goalkeepers and managers up Wolves. Walter Zenga was his predecessor.
Yeah, maybe the less said about that the better, but, you know, bald, glasses, beard, it's good look. Bolly's made a mistake. Seamus Coleman steals it in the area. Didn't clear the ball effectively. Seamus Coleman nicked it, struck it. Ball bobbled through to the goalkeeper, Rui Patricio.
Yeah, just a little bit off balance, Bolly there. Probably could have just held the ball, kept possession, tried a little pass inside and just kicked it, and luckily got away with it.
Brought in for £10 million. Willy Bolly, permanent move from Porto after a season-long loan here last season. Former France under-19 international. Playing on the left side of that three-man defence. Here's Conor Cody with a big diagonal ball. It's a bouncer and a difficult one for Doherty to deal with, but he does exactly that. Heads it back in field to Ryan Bennett. And he does have such wonderful distribution in that position. Conor Cody, a key player, the captain for this Wolverhampton Wanderers team.
That's the beauty of when they play the back three with Espirito Santo. He likes to have players in there who can play midfield as well. Obviously, Moroccan size as well. He can play back in there. He's part of the Moroccan World Cup squad that was so measly in qualifying as well.
Throw in for Everton, controlled by Cenk Tosun. Got the responsibility on his shoulders at Everton. They look to the bench and see Umar Niasse, who started last season, didn't even have a locker at this club. Has had some impressive moments, no doubt about it, but you do still feel like he is someone they would like to replace if it were possible.
I think it's probably an area that they are a little bit light. I know that when Cenk Tosun first came into the club, he didn't really impress straight away. He didn't really look to settle in straight away and train. He was finding it difficult. I think today, you know, a few little touches we've seen, he can be a good target man.
Ball down the right channel for Wolves, up towards Raul Jimenez and the experience of Phil Jagielka. The Everton skipper just stepping across and the ball bouncing through to Jordan Pickford. An old campaigner in the Premier League, Phil Jagielka, as we mentioned in the build-up to the match, one of 3 players in the Everton back four signed during David Moyes' tenure here. A testament to that side and testament to the consistency of those players. They're still playing at the very highest level in the Premier League. David Moyes in the last year of his Man United contract in an alternative universe.
Phil Jagielka, we always talk about his pace. Everyone keeps going on about it year after year. He keeps in the team, he keeps playing, and obviously, you know, it's different when he's paired up with someone like Ashley Williams, who doesn't have a lot of pace either. Then you're in trouble. But
that's a really poor challenge there by Richarlison. He'll pick up the game's first yellow card from Craig Pawson. Just went in fairly firmly there on that far side. I think it was Moutinho who was just spreading the ball from centre to right. It was. And it was late. Studs. It is a yellow.
It's definitely a yellow. There's no need. It was needless. But that's what you get from Richarlison. He's not a typical winger. He's quite robust. He'll get challenged in. Very good at nicking the ball off midfielders and defenders and taking it past them.
Plenty of football last season for Watford. Played more games than any other for the Hornets. No goals this calendar year, though. The fee, a rumour between 35 and 50 million pounds, undisclosed from Everton Football Club, perhaps understandably. Here's Bolly on the halfway line, left-hand side for Wolves. Finds a release ball down the line to Johnny. Infield to Raul Jimenez, trying to find a return ball to the marauding left wing back, but it's too heavy, and that will go out of play for a goal kick.
Finding Willy Bolly really high up on the pitch. He's almost playing like a high fullback. You know, just think if Everton get a turn over the ball, if they can quickly get that behind Willy Bolly, try and take advantage of that and get Theo Walcott and use his pace in behind him.
Johnny Castro, the left wing back for Wolverhampton Wanderers, formerly of Atletico Madrid. Just incredible that could be the career path for so many of these players. Atletico, Porto, Benfica, coming into Molineux and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wonderful ambition. Again, maybe there will be time to talk about the Jorge Mendes link-up later and the investment, but, you know, I think there's a lot of clubs thinking, why didn't we do that?
Well, do you know what? The model that they've got, it happens in club. Every club has relationship with different agents, so they try and get themselves the best pool of players available. It's a little bit more public with Wolves at the moment.
Richarlison on the left-hand side, gains about 20 yards down the touchline before he's just clipped up in the air there, and it will be a free kick to the Brazilian. It was Doherty chasing him down just in front of Bennett. He just dragged it back and was clearly tripped, and that's a pretty formulaic free kick for Everton on the left.
Yeah, he just turned, lost his balance a little bit, just swiped his legs away from him, and Richarlison just making sure he got the free kick by rolling around a little bit. Marco Silva just having a word down there with the fourth official. Maybe wanted a little more punishment for the Wolves player, having seen Richarlison booked a few moments before for, to be fair, what was a much worse challenge. At TalkSport Live, the place to get in touch with David Priest and me for this game. On Twitter, plenty of people listening around the world to Wolves' first game back in the Premier League. Defending to do here for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and it's the £50 million man Richarlison who opens the scoring in this match for Everton. A wonderful finish from close range. Wolves did not deal with the high ball, and the big spending championship champions are trailing in the Premier League. It wasn't a particularly dangerous ball in. Leighton Baines' left foot, it was an outswinger, but it was at a decent height to defend. Just seemed to drop off the back of somebody's head, Richarlison's head, just to poke the ball home.
We spoke about how long it had been since Richarlison scored a goal. He hadn't scored a goal in this calendar year. It all dried up after Marco Silva left Vicarage Road. Put the two back together again, and Richarlison is scoring again.
Willy Bolly's the problem here. He comes onto the ball, he's come from the back post area, he's come straight onto it. All he has to do is head the ball straight back where he come from. He tries to turn his body to try and flick it away, he gets nothing on it, and the ball just drops to Richarlison.
Repaying a big chunk of that big transfer fee, repaying the faith of his manager. And you just get that sometimes, David, don't you? That a player and a manager just have that relationship where they want to work with each other, and maybe we're seeing that again with Richarlison, and that's why they spent the money.
Exactly, it is a lot of money. If it is 50 million, it's a lot of money for a 21-year-old with 1 year's experience in the Premier League, but he's seen him day in, day out. He knows exactly what he's getting. Welcome
to the big time. Wolves trailing by 1-0. What can they do in response? Down the right hand side they fire a high ball towards Doherty. It's cleared away from the experienced Leighton Baines, but Cenk Tosun can't keep Everton in possession. Wolves retake it, and they work the ball down the left hand side. Over the halfway is Bolly, running into a bit of trouble. Ball ricochets through to Raul Jimenez. Good defensive work by Garner and Jagielka. Strong challenge by Jagielka there, went to ground, won it. Ball loops its way forward. Wolves coming forward. Costa challenged by Leighton Baines. They retake possession, Wolverhampton Wanderers, with João Moutinho. Over 100 caps for the Portugal national side. Diminutive, creative. Can either be the metronome midfield or can carry the team upfield. Really tremendous footballer in the centre of that midfield. Seen a great deal of Ruben Neves next to him so far. On the ball now in his own half. Leaves it to Bolly. Forward. Through the gap, in the hole, dropping deep comes Diego Jota. He'll leave it outside of him to Johnny. Jimenez back towards Bolly, left hand side, over the halfway line. Big diagonal, fired outright. Doherty will take on Richarlison. It surely hits the Wolves man last. May have even been his arm, but it's going to go for a throw-in on that far side. 20 minutes gone. Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Everton 1 on Premier League Live.
Both sides looking to keep the ball on one side, create an overload, and then try and get the ball out both sides. And a lot of big diagonal balls in this game. It'll be interesting to see how Marco Silva approaches the game now. You know, at Hull City, I think he lost 9 out of his 11 away games. Lost only won 11 of his last game, 11 games at Watford. So it's it's important that he gets points on the board here, and important that he gets a win.
Lot to prove for Marco Silva, 6th club in just a 7-year managerial career, and didn't make many friends with the way he dealt with the approach from Everton while he was Watford manager.
No, of course not, and I think that's what his downfall was. Of course, it was poor form at the end of his time at Watford. But I was actually at the game against Leicester when they were beaten. I think they were beaten 2 or 3-0 at Leicester, and it wasn't a 2 or 3-0 game. It was a good performance, solid performance. They didn't look like a team who were in trouble, and I think his sacking had much more to do with the way he was handled it with the approach from Everton rather than what was going on the pitch.
Wolves up over the halfway line. Flick on towards Helder Costa by Jimenez. Back in play. Matinho looking cross-field. Ricochets off Theo Walcott. Battling for it is Diego Jota with Theo Walcott. Garner over to help. Everton back on it. Oh, Sigurdsson's unlucky there. He tried to play a first-time ball through to Theo Walcott, who maybe would have been through on the back line, but it's just luckily for Wolverhampton Wanderers hit the leg of Matinho, I think it was, in there. It just broke to a teammate, and Wolves back in possession. Up over the halfway line comes Ryan Bennett. Right-hand side from right central defence. Chips it back into the centre of the field, where it will be controlled and carried forward by Ruben Neves. Lovely chip out to the left-hand side. Johnny has it, back on the right boot. Infield to Diego Jota. Back out right. Here comes Neves again. Those uninitiated with Ruben Neves, just put his name into YouTube. It will be a fabulous 10-15 minutes for you. Some of the goals and skills from last season, assists, absolutely wonderful campaign. It's Jota coming forward now for Wolves, running diagonal, left to right, running into Richarlison. Wolves back in possession again though. Matinho with a volley out right, low cross in towards Doherty, is cleared away, struck at goal by Matinho, but always rising from the Portuguese, and that'll be a goal kick.
Those ball just caught the left-hand side of the box, and I think Richarlison could have taken the ball. He could have been a little bit more forceful in his tackle. He's already been booked though. He doesn't want to go in too hard again and risk that. Ball comes out the right-hand side, bobbles out to João Matinho. Just a little bit too high for him during about it. Just couldn't get his foot over the ball. Just goes a foot over the ball.
And some of the question marks about that signing. Somebody with his pedigree, his career, coming in from Monaco. £5 million in 2018. Shekiate's worth 10.
Isn't he?
He can't even trap a ball.
Isn't he the third most capped in Portugal's history?
Yeah. Fabulous career to this point. Still plenty to offer in the Premier League with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Defending to do now though for Wolves as Baines crosses. Bennett wins it at the near. It bounces towards the back post. Rui Patricio comes off his line and will gather under no real pressure.
And this is the thing with João Matinho as well. Of course he's a great player with great experience, but the guy's a winner. Only one season out of the last 13 has he been trophyless, and that's what he needs to bring to the dressing room now. They've got the players, they've got the style of play. They need people in that dressing room now who won trophies.
Everton leading by a goal to nil. 24 minutes gone here at Molineux between Wolves and the Toffees. The Merseysiders have won their last 5 Premier League games against newly promoted sides without conceding a single goal. They may well have not faced one as good as this before, but they're winning at the moment. Defending to do. Chip down the right channel by Ruben Neves. Will be kept in by Doherty. Good low cross. Keane sweeps things up with Raul Jimenez just behind him looking to steal. Given away there by Everton. Poor play there by Richarlison, the goal scorer. Wolves work it quickly down the left-hand side. Diego Jota running into trouble. Theo Walcott. Good defensive work by Theo Walcott. Wins a throw-in for his team as well.
Something you don't associate with Theo Walcott as good defender, but 2 occasions already. He's not sold himself. He's not sort of trying to dive in. Just stood his ground. He's been able to pick people's pockets and take the ball.
Plenty of experience. Theo Walcott, Premier League veteran. Brought in during the January transfer window. Scored a few goals as well. Back end of last season, maybe one of the only bright spots during Sam Allardyce's tenure at the club. As Wolves work their way forward down the left-hand side. Johnny by the corner flag. Cross with the left boot, hit Seamus Coleman. Only as far as Matinho. Good win by Seamus Coleman again. Maybe a late challenge on him there could have resulted in an Everton free kick. Referee Craig Pawson gives nothing. Wolves back on the ball again, as they have been for much of this game, but they were susceptible to a free kick, and that's been their downfall so far. 61% possession. Just a one shot on goal though. That the swinger by Moutinho moments ago. Here is Moutinho running at Garner, out left. Chip by Hotta all the way back to Conor Cody. Always an option. Always wants the ball. The central defender of three and captain of the Wanderers. Ruben Neves in his own half. Back to Cody, left to Bolly. Cenk Tosun chasing him down, but with no real desire to win it. Happy for Wolves to have it there, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. You can see that Everton, just in the last 5 minutes or so, they've just dropped right off. Cenk Tosun's barely come out of his half. They're happy just to let them have the ball in their own half.
Oh, and Bolly now carries the ball forward and chips it straight out of play down the left-hand side, and sometimes you do see that in these 3-5-2 formations when the central defenders are asked to play football. Sometimes the frustration gets to them a bit quicker and they make mistakes.
Well, that's it. Bolly's been finding himself a lot of ball hype in the pitch on this left-hand side. What they need now, they need Conor Cody to just to step in, make that extra body in midfield, then they can start passing through midfield.
Mistake there by Jordan Pickford, looking for a ball out left to Leighton Baines that certainly wasn't in the area to kick the football, and that is going to be a throw into Wolves on the far side. Apart from that mistake though by Everton, got to say they've got everything right today. Marco Silva's side, the organisation is there, the intensity is there, took the chance when they got it. Very, very impressed with Everton in the opening 27 minutes.
Marco Silva, he's a type of manager who he spends a lot of time on preparation. He spends a lot of time on the pitch, not particularly doing sort of anything enjoyable, but he does get out in nitty-gritty, all the positional play. His teams know exactly what they're doing in every situation.
Will be a tough match and half and a half. I say match and a half. How long is it going to go on for? Half and a half for Everton to deal with now, because Wolves are dominating the ball, doing a lot of work off the ball, these Everton players. Here's Cenk Tosun chasing the football down. Back to Rui Patricio, who looks long down the right hand side. Won by Richarlison. Gylfi Sigurdsson playing in the number 10 role. Can't keep the ball in play. What about Gylfi Sigurdsson this year? Last year he had Rooney and Klaassen and all these other guys coming in his position. Got shunted out to the wing where we'd never seen him before. A big campaign for him coming up.
It is, but I couldn't understand when he was brought into the club why they didn't pick somebody or pair him up with somebody who he'd had a success with, like he did with Llorente at Swansea. That was the reason they stayed up the last season together. They got big success together, and he was very good set piece taker. Now at Everton, it hasn't been the same play with set pieces. You can see that Leighton Baines was the choice for that free kick, and Nottingham swinger by him. As corners for somebody who's a set piece expert, very poor return from his corners.
Yet another of the big money buys for Everton, £45 million from Swansea back in August 2017. Good challenge there by Bolly on Walcott. Suggestion maybe he went through the back of him, not given by the referee. Hotta then trying to find Jimenez with a poor pass, and Morgan Schneiderlin, who isn't universally popular with Everton fans, regains possession for his team.
We've seen that already so far this game. There's a lot of turnovers in midfield. These two teams aren't playing safe passing around each other. They're trying to thread through balls in straight away. A little bit riskier, and they're going to get cut out. So it just lends me to believe there might be one or two more goals in this, and they take advantage of those slack passes. Certainly
a game with a real high tempo. A lot of attacking talent on show as well, as Jagielka and Keane. Some risky play there from the two central defenders, but it worked out for them. First time passes from right to left with Wolves players chasing them down. That's the way the game is now, though. You take more risks than maybe you would have done 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, of course. And I think we're talking about Gylfi Sigurdsson. You're just seeing the last little passages of play. You see he's finding himself in pockets of space, and they just get the ball through to him, but they can't find him at the moment. But he's shifting his position all the time.
Yeah, he's a good 10 yards advanced to Moutinho and Neves in front of back three. Everton just need to find a way to get him the ball at the moment. They're just stuck in front of that Wolves midfield. Ball with Jagielka over the halfway line down the right wing to Seamus Coleman, who had a shot earlier on, saved by Rui Patricio. No real venom in it. Jagielka back to Pickford. It's going to be tough to deal with. Good first touch by Pickford, then right boot upfield. Because of the pressure, though, he couldn't really pick a pass out. It goes out of play on this near side for a Wolves throw. you're in goal there, you don't necessarily welcome that ball from Phil Jagielka fired back to you like that.
No, not at all, but all goalkeepers now, you know, if you can't handle that, then you shouldn't be playing in the Premier League.
Throw in Wolves, flicked on Jimenez. Jagielka back on it. Garner, strong and tidy footballer, finds a release. Back to Pickford again via Leighton Baines. Upfield to Cenk Tosun. Good win by Bonnet. Brought down by Garner. Centre circle, outright to Walcott. Lovely first time right-footed pass, outright to Coleman. Look at Sigurdsson screaming for it in the centre. It goes to Walcott instead. Crossed by Theo Walcott. It's away by Cody on the volley. Only as far as Garner. Centre of the field, 40 yards from goal. Into Seamus Coleman. Two players around him. Matinho with the challenge. Wolves back on it. Trying to spring the counter, but maybe just blowing a bit hard here, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Seen plenty of the ball in the opening half an hour of the game. Trailing by a goal to nil. Helder Costa isn't no wonderful bit of skill to turn away from the challenge of Richarlison. Richarlison then dives in, does win the ball back. Costa wanted the free kick. Referee said no, and Richarlison on a yellow just has to be a bit more careful than that. Up towards Richarlison again, diagonal from centre to left. Good win once, then twice by Bennett. Garner looks to put a challenge in it. Ricochets out left to Leighton Baines here at Molineux. Richarlison found by Garner, running at 3. Challenged by 1, then Matinho will bring the ball away. Neves found him, Matinho streaking forward. Costa is right, he looks for Costa. Challenge there on the halfway line. Is there a shout for handball potentially? As the ball looked to go through, Neves is convinced of it. He's telling the referee exactly that. Maybe Matinho was caught late as well. It did just harmlessly go through to Pickford. I'll need a replay for me to work out exactly how that happened.
Yeah, I think it's just a late challenge from behind, but the game got a little bit scrappy there for a spell. I think it's a concerted effort by Wolves just to let Everton have a little bit of play. Wolves had that spell of play where they were in that possession, but it was impotent. You just have to let Everton have the ball a bit, then they can try and have the transition, take the ball over it, and then hit them on the break quickly. I think that's what they're trying to do.
This game has the potential to be an absolute Premier League classic. It's what you always want. A top quality promoted side at home, a Premier League stalwart. And I can tell you right now, with half an hour gone, Everton leading by a goal to nil, I have absolutely no idea what is going to happen next. Premier League Live is the only place to be for the next 90 minutes of your lives. Everton coming forward down the left-hand side. Baines looking for Cenk Tosun, intercepted by Ryan Bennett. Has it been kept on the far side? No, it hasn't. You can feel Molineux getting frustrated again with the officiating. See Ruben Neves having a word with Craig Pawson as well, the referee.
No idea where Wolves are going to finish this season, but you know that every game they're playing is just going to be high tempo and enjoyable to watch.
I do feel like there will be wins for them in the Premier League, but will it be today? Everton leading currently. Good challenge by Neves, wins it back for Wolves, but he runs into trouble, and Everton back in possession in Wolves territory. Richarlison there. Well, he was caught by Neves, but then he does a kind of spinning dive, which doesn't endear him to supporters, and wasn't necessary as well, because the free kick had already been given.
Yeah, he's just felt the contact from Neves. Felt the contact from Neves, and just he's gone a bit limp and just went down, and could have easily carried on from that situation.
Craig Pawson did give the free kick. I mean, it probably was a free kick, but you can hear the frustration again. That does happen. Sometimes you do get the sense as a fan in the ground it's not going to be your day. At the moment it's not been the day for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Free kick left-hand side, not too far away from where the Baines delivery led to the opening goal. Sigurdsson's over there too if they want to try something different. Michael Keane gone forward. Cenk Tosun always a threat in these kind of situations. One man wall for Wolves. Baines ball towards Keane, away by Costa. Picked up by Garner, right hand side. Chips one in towards Richarlison. It's away only as far as Gylfi Sigurdsson in the area. Miscontrol. Costa wins it. Foul Sigurdsson. Silly mistake by Gylfi Sigurdsson. And Wolves have a free kick in their own half.
So you've just seen the replay before from the Moutinho free kick incident where Sigurdsson just clipped him from behind. That was more of a free kick than this one. He's giving this free kick their way.
Frustrating one there for Gylfi Sigurdsson. No real need to be drawn into that situation. Clever, some would say, from Costa, the Wolves man. Feel the contact hit the ground, we see it a lot, but Sigurdsson gave him the chance as the ball is played down the left touchline by Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Pickford came out. Not sure he needed to there, Jordan Pickford. Did control the ball on the thigh and clear it out of play. Ball seemed to be going harmlessly into the corner of the field with an Everton defender in between ball and goal, but he made the decision and it worked out for him.
Yeah, he just wanted to take control of the situation, make sure nothing happened from it, and he clears his lines.
Throw in taken by Wolves down the right hand side. Matt Doherty finds the runner Helder Costa in the area, lovely skill, beats two, fires one towards the near post. It's never really going to trouble the goalkeeper on that far side. What do you make of Raul Jimenez on debut? Lovely bit of skill from him there, good link up with Doherty as well.
Yeah, I mean, the first 10-15 minutes you can see the quality of a player, you know, whether he's playing well or not. You see the little touches there. He played a great first time pass inside from the throw-in to Costa, just on the spin, blind cross to his left, pure quality it was. And like I said, he looks like he's got the physical attributes to be able to handle himself in this division as well.
Two star appearances at the World Cup in Russia as Mexico reached the last 16. Also appeared in the previous World Cup in 2014 and part of the Olympic gold squad of 2012. Plenty of international pedigree up front. Is there to be a chance for him now? Crossfield ball played by Hotter, centre to right, trying to find the run of Doherty. Overhit again by Diego Hotter, who's just struggling to warm up a little bit to this game, I feel. Hasn't quite got his passing as crisp as he would have liked, and not got his angles right. That one just a bit too heavy. It needed the chip pass he did a little while ago the other way. Doherty just turned round, and the Irishman was just a bit frustrated there with that pass, as he must have run 40-50 yards to get into that situation. Wolves not letting Everton out. It's been won back on the far side by Jimenez, cross towards Hotter, won by the head of Jagielka. Will it break on the edge of the area? It will, for a shot from Costa. Left boot, no real conviction. Bobbles out of play for a goal kick.
Good desire from Jimenez there as well. Across the near post, just cut out, comes back to him. It's in between two Everton defenders, and he launches himself back at it to win the header. And the shot comes in from the edge of the box and goes wide. Just going back to Jimenez, you know, he's one of the few Mexican players that play the football in Europe. Of course, you know, you have Javier Hernandez. You think back to Hugo Sanchez. There's very few Mexican players that's making a success in Europe, and that's one of the big reasons why they don't press on from that quarter final or that last 16 in the World Cup, because they don't have experience. You know, the Mexican league is very well paid.
It's broken to Richarlison. Oh, Theo Walcott's screaming for it, and Theo Walcott's not getting it because of an awful pass by Richarlison. That was a big opportunity wasted.
Yeah, a huge waste. I think, was it Ryan Bennett trying to play offside? Didn't realise that Willy Bolly was 2 or 3 yards behind him.
At the other end, Wolves coming forward. Costa with the shot. On target, but well read and well held by Jordan Pickford. And just to his teammates just to calm down a little bit, because it just feels like the game is on a knife edge, and it really could kick up into an end-to-end kind of scramble, and that will not favour Everton because they lead by a goal to nil.
Not exactly. They'll just want to settle things down a little bit. Helder Costa just coming inside his left foot there. Boys would have been better off just trying to bend it round the far post past Pickford. As it was an easy pick-up for him.
39 minutes on the clock at Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers back in the Premier League. Relegated 6 years ago. The last 4 winners of the Championship have avoided relegation from the Premier League the following season. The odds are in their favour. The investment is in their favour. The scoreline on the opening day is not. Defending to do here for Wolves. Lovely ball to Sigurdsson from Jake Tossen. Sigurdsson with the shot. Saved by Rui Patricio, but the offside flag has gone up against Gylfi Sigurdsson.
I think what we're seeing here is the added bonus of bringing in an extra player in one position. Lucas Digne has obviously come in. He's from Barcelona. It looks like he's going to be pressed into his first choice left back. Leighton Baines' days, everyone thought he's making his days with numbers, but it seemed forward. He's getting forward more than ever now. The last couple of seasons, he's probably just put the reins on himself a little bit. Hasn't been as marauding as he used to be, but he's getting forward a lot in this game.
that's a poor touch there by Jagielka, very nearly allowing the steal there from Diego Jota, and the referee's actually given a free kick against Phil Jagielka, but he's given a red card against Phil Jagielka. Well, it was a miscontrol by the Everton captain. He lunged forward to challenge for the loose ball. He did win the ball, but the referee thinks that must be violent conduct. Studs up. We'll need to see a replay of it. Marco Silva's furious. We're somewhat flummoxed by it. Phil Jagielka going for an early bath.
That is the cat firmly amongst the pigeons now.
We haven't had the replay yet on the monitors. We're getting one now, so it's a slight miscontrol. Jota with the challenge. It's a strong challenge. The studs are up. He does win plenty of the ball. He does get a lot of Diego Jota. I don't know about that. I don't think that's a stamp up. The studs are up. That's a yellow. It's not coming down. I think the studs are up and pointing up. I think there's a difference in that.
I'd have to see that again. I'm not sure how much of the ball he's got. Oh, that's the thing. I don't know whether he's got through the leg first and then the ball. Let's have a closer look.
Miscontrol. Right leg goes out. The heel is on the ground and the toes are up, but the foot is back, so the studs are exposed to get the player.
Yeah, I think that's a man first one ball. I think he gets a man first.
But even if he gets the man first, and let's just say he does, and it's not conclusive, I don't think, but he very well might. The heel's on the ground. It's not as if he's coming from above and stamping down, which is what they're trying to stop from happening.
I get what you're saying.
Is that a red card, really?
No, it's definitely a foul, definitely a yellow card, especially in the game. I don't know whether he's thinking that he's the last man as well, though. He's taking that into consideration.
You're absolutely right there. You're absolutely right. If he doesn't foul the man, the ball is loose and he could be through. That could be a consideration, only if there was some sort of way to look at that again on a replay for the referee to make sure he got the right decision.
Well, that's it. I mean, you can't judge it like this, but if you look at that tackle that we've got the replays, you think it's perhaps a yellow card for the tackle and a yellow card for being last man.
Well, it's happened. There's no way of going back on it now. Everton lead, they're down to 10. Jagielka's off. Oh, this is going to be a thrilling 45 minutes and change from here. Marco Silva may not calm down for the rest of this match.
And let's not get away from it. You know, we can talk about the tackle all night, we can talk about whether he's last man or not, but it's a terrible touch from Phil Jagielka, and that's what puts him in trouble.
A change here. Gylfi Sigurdsson is going to have to go off here. He'll be sacrificed. Mason Holgate is on. Normally a fullback, but he has played in the centre of defence, so I think that'll probably be just a straight swap, and he'll play left-hand side. Keane goes to the right of the two central defenders, but we'll find out shortly.
Yeah, I think he'll probably just go to the right-hand side. I think it'll be a straight swap. Mason was a kid at Barnsley when I was there, and he just come through, and very adaptable, playing all down the right-hand side, and it's centre-half as well, so it just makes them, you know, we talked about before whether they're going to drop off, or they're going to have to do that now. Interesting situation with the free kick, though. Yeah,
it's about 3 or 4 yards away from the edge of the penalty area. It's a superb position for a chip free kick. Everton down to 10, and Wolves could be level momentarily. Ruben Neves is over it. Wolves supporters used to seeing his sublime set pieces flying in the top corner. A wonderful striker of the football. It'll be Ruben Neves with the free kick. Oh, what a goal! What a goal for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Welcome back to the big time. Ruben Neves finds the top corner. Jordan Pickford got a hand on it, but I think even two keepers wouldn't have kept that one out. Molineux erupts. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Ruben Neves.
It is an expertly taken free kick. There will be criticism of Jordan Pickford, though, I'm sure, because he's going to the left-hand side. He takes a step to his right, and the ball goes across to his left. You can see the step to his right there, and that's what's going to be the criticism. That's the difference between him saving the ball and the ball going the back of the net.
Fantastic execution, though, wasn't it, on the free kick?
It's right up there, it's right under the ball, right at the top corner. But like I just said, if you're using a wall in that situation, you have to just let it do its work. Don't worry about what's going behind, because if you do that, you leave yourself open to getting beaten your side and open yourself up to criticism for being beaten that side.
What a response from Molineux. They're dreaming big here. And rightly so with the investment, rightly so with the quality. 1-1 here against Everton, Premier League stalwarts. Everton down to 10 men. Jagielka sent off. Early goal scored by Richarlison, cancelled out. Approaching half-time, 45 minutes gone, but we'll see plenty added on. There was a long old delay there after the sending off of Phil Jagielka.
Yeah, well, it's a double punishment for him. You know, it's one of those situations where you think, well, he's not going to let him go through, he's always going to make the tackle there. But if he doesn't make the tackle and he does get past him, then it gives John Pickford a better chance of saving the ball.
6 goals last season, all from outside the box in the Championship of Ruben Neves. 1 goal in 1 Premier League game this season. You guessed it, outside the box for those just joining us. A wonderful free kick from Ruben Neves finding the top corner. This time his crossfield ball is just overhit from the halfway, diagonal out to the far side. And that'll be a goal kick to Everton. And just a chance for them just to regain their thoughts, regain their composure. They'll feel a bit hard done by here, Everton, and understandably so. Three minutes added on at the end of the opening 45. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Goal kick to be taken here by Jordan Pickford. Just seeing Wolves fans all around Molineux here. You can hear the atmosphere, I'm sure, wherever you're listening around the world. Ruben Neves' name being sung to the rooftops and beyond here in Wolverhampton. The only team from this part of the world in the top flight. Only time in history that's ever happened, you know. Villa, West Brom, not in the division. Usually the two big sides in this area. Of course, Birmingham City have had their time in the top flight as well, but less so than the others. But Wolves are the big dogs in the Midlands these days, no doubt about it. And they are level in the Premier League against Everton here at Molineux.
That's a brilliance of the game, wasn't it? You know, you see Everton so comfortable. The fans, the players on the pitch, Wolves are getting frustrated with their play. All of a sudden, the blink of an eye changes and they're back in it. And listen to that crowd now.
Everton looking to strike back here. Richarlison finds Idrissa Gana. Theo Walcott. Ball out right to Seamus Coleman in the area. Read by Johnny, who puts the challenge in, but it's gone for a corner on this right-hand side. Sigurdsson has gone off, but still Leighton Baines on the field, who has such fantastic set-piece delivery. If he's got the time to get the old legs over there. But they've sent players forward for this set-piece. 48 minutes on the clock. Wolves 1, Everton 1 on Premier League Live. Leighton Baines has now belatedly got over to this side. He certainly took his time about it, understandably so, as the rain just starts to drizzle here at Molineux. Had such a wonderful summer in the UK, but it has just got a bit damp and a bit cold the last few days. Perfect for football. Baines' delivery towards the back post. Great ball too. Won by Bennett. And there's surely a push there by Martinho. It was Mason Holgate that went down. Referee gave nothing. I think that would have been a review if we were in the World Cup, but it's gone for a corner instead. Again, Baines with the delivery. He wants to do this one quickly because 48 minutes are up. Right arm goes up from the Everton skipper, Leighton Baines. Another ball towards the back post. Keane is there, he's won it. Cenk Tosun in front of the keeper, couldn't get there before Patricio could gather. And that will be the last act of what has been a ferocious first half of football back in the Premier League for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Richarlison on the scoring on 17 minutes. Phil Jagielka sent off on 43 from the resulting free kick. Ruben Neves levelling things on 44. 1-1 at the break between Wolves and Everton. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
A line of bodies along the edge of the 6-yard box. Ericsson just rifles it in, and Harry Kane is there to head in almost on the goal line. More Premier League goals in a calendar year than any other player in history.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Edge of the box is Solanke. Through to Mo Salah! Who scores? Number 32! Mo Salah, the record breaker for Liverpool.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live. Brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Sanchez wants runners. There's 6 players on the edge of the area to aim for. One is Smalling! Unbelievable scenes at the Etihad Stadium. It's 3-2 to Manchester United.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
We are joined on the preview show to talk about what has happened at the top of the table in the last few days by our former Premier League winger, Matthew Etherington. Adrian Clark's with us. Chris Iwelumo, fresh from the gym.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com and then hear every kick on Premier League Live.
Oxlade-Chamberlain goes down, but he still finds Salah! Who makes it 2 to Liverpool? 1 chance, 1 goal. Number 20 for the Egyptian magician.
Listen to the show on TalkSport.com.
Final game of a fantastic Saturday of football in the Premier League comes from Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers up against Everton. Here's the very best of the first half action. Paul Polly's made a mistake. Seamus Coleman stills it in the area. Didn't clear the ball effectively. Seamus Coleman nicked it, struck it. Ball bobbled through to the goalkeeper, Rui Patricia. Wolves' first game back in the Premier League. Defending to do here for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it's the £50 million man, Richarlison, who opens the scoring in this match for Everton. A wonderful finish from close range. Wolves did not deal with the high ball, and the big spending championship champions are trailing in the Premier League. And the referee's actually given a free kick against Phil Jagielka, but he's given a red card against Phil Jagielka. Well, it was a miscontrol by the Everton captain. He lunged forward to challenge for the loose ball. He did win the ball, but the referee thinks that must be violent conduct. Wolves supporters used to seeing his sublime set pieces flying in the top corner. A wonderful striker of the football. It'll be Ruben Neves with the free kick. Oh, what a goal! What a goal for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Welcome back to the big time. Ruben Neves finds the top corner. Jordan Pickford got a hand on it, but I think even 2 keepers wouldn't have kept that one out. That's how things stand at half-time, 1-1. David Priest alongside me. Before we get into the goals, let's talk about the red card. We've seen it a few times now on the replay. Phil Jagielka sent off at the time. Everton winning by a 1-0. Miscontrol and a challenge with the stud-up that catches Diego Jota. I've seen it a few times now. I'm still thinking that should be a yellow card, but I'm not sure. Talk me through it.
Well, I just think it's the ball comes across to Jagielka. You can see it's a bad touch by him. It goes out to the right, out of his feet. He panics a little bit. He's struggling. Lunges in at Jota, and I can see why the referee's given it. On 2 counts. One, because it's a bad tackle, and I think he just gets to it. His studs meet Jota's leg before it hits the ball, and then you've got to consider that he's the last man as well. So if he takes a ball past Phil Jagielka, he's got a free run on goal. It's not a given that it would be a goal, but it'd be a great opportunity for him. And I think the referee's taken that into consideration as well.
From then, a fantastic free kick from Ruben Neves. We saw him last year score several fantastic goals from outside the box.
That's a bit close.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I was expecting him to try and chip it up over the wall, put it in the other corner, but he sees where the goalkeeper is. He looks for the advantage in the situation. I mean, I know you discussed it from the Pickford perspective, but what about the Neves perspective? I mean, it's just so creative to hit a ball like that. Plus, you have to execute.
Yeah, of course. And look, I'm saying that from a goalkeeper's perspective. You know, if you look at your own game, you think, well, maybe I could have done this better. That step to the right kills Jordan Pickford, and it makes the difference. He gets a good touch on the ball, but if he doesn't move to his right, I think he gets there. Having said that, it would still make it a wonderful save because of the strike and the execution. He keeps flat over the wall, and just at the last minute just bends a little bit just to make sure it gets under the bar and inside the post, and exactly what you've just said, brilliantly executed.
Would he have saved it next week with another bit of holiday? Another pina colada in him?
Yeah, possibly, but like I said, it's that step that kills him. And I think in that close range, when it's just around the box, you're using a wall, you've got 5 men in the wall there, trust that wall. If the ball goes over the top of that wall into the unguarded side of the net, hold your hands up and say brilliant. The striker of the ball's done his job, he's done it, and he's done it well, whereas that side of your goal, that's the one you're responsible for.
Before all that, I think Everton had the better of the game, more of the ball, a few decent chances, or more of the ball in attacking areas of the field, certainly. I think Wolves were contained, just knocking it left and right, not getting that creative. It all changes now for Everton, doesn't it? Do they try and hold on? Do they still try and get forward?
Yeah, I think so. I think, if the attacking potency that Wolves have got, if they just sit back, it's just going to be a matter of time, or they're leaving it down to look, they're inviting pressure on themselves. You can see in the closer stage there, they've still got the ability to go forward. They've still got the pace to get forward as well, through Walcott, through Richarlison. So I don't think they need to change it too much. From being sort of a 4-2-3-1, they can just maybe play 4-2-2-1.
We will see in the next 45 minutes. David, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. Elsewhere today in the Premier League, it finished Bournemouth 2, Cardiff City 0. Fulham, another of the newly promoted sides, losing 2-0 at home against Crystal Palace. Chelsea, well, chaotic pre-season it may have been, but Maurizio Sarri's got his first win, 3-0 away at a pitiful Huddersfield Town. Watford, 2-0 victors over Brighton and Hove Albion. The early game of the day was at St James's Park, where Newcastle lost 2-1 against Tottenham Hotspur. And we can hear from the Spurs manager Maurizio Pochettino, who of course signed no players during the transfer window, but was full of praise for those that he does have.
The effort and the mentality was great. I think they deserve full credit and massive prize. So happy. Of course, the performance, we need to improve in our performance. We can do better, but of course, with all the circumstance, when you put all the circumstance, that a lot of players arrived Monday, and to link everything and to try to work like a team was a massive challenge, and will be a massive challenge in the next few weeks. But I think it's the willingness and everything from the player that arrived in the Monday was fantastic, with to showing the rest of the team, and today was so important. The 3 points to start well the season was important to start in this way.
Yeah, top win for Tottenham Hotspur earlier today. We are running a poll on our Twitter page at TalkSport Live. You can find it on at Thomas J Rennie as well, my Twitter page, all about that red card. There's a bit of a debate between us here, a debate going on across the footballing public as well. Is it a red card for Phil Jagielka? A couple of hundred votes in the last couple of minutes. 55% of our listeners say a red, 45% think a yellow. Keep your views coming in to at TalkSport Live and to at Thomas J Rennie. And I look forward to when the accusations come in. You must be a Wolves fan, mate. No, I don't mind. I don't mind either way. I just think it was probably a yellow. Keep your views coming in. James Filden replies to us, one of our commentary team here, and he says Ruben Neves with not one, not two, but 3 fire emojis.
Flames.
That seems fair enough.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a great strike, but we're just looking back to last season. I remember Everton going away to Manchester City first game of the season, and they lost Morgan Schneiderlin later on in the game to a red card, so it's not the first time this has happened to them.
Second half coming up in a few minutes' time. 1-1 at the break. You're listening to Premier League Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much.
Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions. The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Sanchez wants runners. There's 6 players on the edge of the area to aim for. One is Smalling! Unbelievable scenes at the Etihad Stadium. It's 3-2 to Manchester United.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
A great week for Tottenham Hotspur, but still some way off the leading pack. Chris Perry, former Spurs defender, is with us. I didn't want him on, but he's here anyway. Former Chelsea man, Clive Walker's with us.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com and then hear every kick on Premier League Live.
Oxlade-Chamberlain goes down, but he still finds Salah, who makes it 2 to Liverpool. 1 chance, 1 goal. Number 20 for the Egyptian magician.
Listen to the show on talksport.com.
One planet, one game, one football. The all-new OneFootball app is available right now for iOS, Android and Windows phones. With all the latest football news, live scores, results, highlights and more from the Premier League, Champions League and hundreds of international competitions. Download the OneFootball app from your app store today to follow all the Premier League matches with live text commentary and vote for your man of the match. OneFootball, the best app for football fans. If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
A line of bodies along the edge of the 6-yard box. Ericsson just rifles it in, and Harry Kane is there to head in almost on the goal line. More Premier League goals in a calendar year than any other player in history.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Edge of the box is Solanke. Through to Mo Salah, who scores! Number 32! Mo Salah, the record breaker for Liverpool.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live. Brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Welcome back to TalkSport's coverage of Wolverhampton Wanderers against Everton from Molineux. 1-1 at the break. I'm your host, Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Sunderland, Aberdeen and Barnsley goalkeeper, David Priest. You are listening to Premier League Live. In that first half, for those that missed it, Richarlison opening the scoring on 17 minutes, his first goal in the calendar year 2018. Phil Jagielka then sent off late in the first half. Ruben Neves scoring from the resulting free kick. He scored 7 league goals from outside the box since the start of last season, more than any other player in the top 4 tiers of English football. And what a free kick it was. We're asking you on Twitter @ThomasJRennie and @TalkSport Live to get your responses in. Do you think that was a red card for Phil Jagielka? I'm sure many of you would have seen it by now. 57% say it's a red, 43 think it is a yellow. Duncan says any foul on the edge of the box is at least a yellow card. Anytime you put that many studs on a man's ankle, you're going to get at least a yellow, and between those two things it's probably a red. Alex says 100 a red, not even a debate. Ref did brilliantly. Kento thinks the red was given for the denial of a goal scoring opportunity. So our commenters certainly think it was a red. The poll is a bit more even, though the listeners and viewers around the world all seem to agree that Phil Jagielka was rightly sent off. We are back underway for this second half, or will be momentarily. Let's run through the 11s for you, starting with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Rui Patricio is in goal. Back 3, left to right, of Willy Boly, Conor Cody and Ryan Bennett. Wing backs left and right, Johnny Castro and Matt Doherty. Ruben Neves and João Moutinho in the centre of midfield. Helder Costa and Diego Jota supporting Raul Jimenez. For Everton, Jordan Pickford in goal. Back four of Leighton Baines, Michael Keane, Mason Holgate and Seamus Coleman. Morgan Schneiderlin and Idrissa Gana in midfield. Theo Walcott and Richarlison, the goal scorer, supporting Cenk Tosun up front. Jagielka sent off. Sigurdsson replaced by Holgate after that had happened. The Wolves attacking the goal away to our right in this second period. Gold shirts, black shorts and gold socks. Everton kick towards our left. Blue shirts, white shorts and white socks. Rain just falling down a bit heavier as this second half gets underway. Might be suited to a few high balls in this second half. Certainly Wolves like to play the big aerial diagonal, and they've got the opportunity now with Raul Jimenez up front on debut. Big physical presence to maybe knock one on his head as well for those runners to flick on. Here is one of those diagonals out to the left hand side. Overlapping run being made by Johnny, who's picked it up and he's found Diego Jota. Turns away from Ghana. Back to Willy Bolly on the left hand side. Neves the goal scorer. Right to Moutinho. Moutinho will find Doherty into Castro. Back to Doherty. Oh, he slipped on the surface here, and Richarlison is allowed to steal it. Everton will look to bring it forward. All ball by Schneiderlin to fall into a bit of a pattern this second half.
It is, and you know, you talk about Wolves going a little bit direct, or maybe playing those big diagonal balls. It went twice already up to Jimenez, right down the middle, and it's something that's Nuno Espirito Santo did at Porto when teams were playing the low block against them. The second half of his first season there, he did go very direct because teams were, like I said, he couldn't play through teams, so he had to try and mix it up a little bit. He's not afraid to do that.
Richarlison with some defending to do here, as you feel there will be for much of this half. Puff of the cheeks already from Richarlison. Gets the challenge in, but ball goes out of play.
Lovely August here in England.
Yeah, it's horrible weather. What has happened? It's been summer for the best part of 8 weeks here. All of a sudden it's back to normal surface. The sun gone and the rain flowing down, and because of the way Molineux is, a real open ground with 4 tiers, there are many fans here, despite being technically undercover, getting soaking wet. They do give out those free rain mats.
This is real proper football.
It's the stuff, it's the good stuff right here. The Premier League in the rain. One team down to 10, the other the champions of the previous division. You'd have to go some way to find football better than this.
I think this is the frustration with someone like Morgan Schneiderlin, who everyone feels he's capable of so much more. Played against him a couple of times when he first went to Southampton, and he dictated games, he demanded the ball, and he just seems a little bit lax, he's just a little bit disinterested, a little bit sloppy with his passing. Could be so much better. He could be the player that's someone like Matic is at Manchester United. He could be that guard shielding for the back four, so he dictates the play, the pace of the game.
Of course, replaced by Matic at Manchester United because he couldn't quite do it at that level, and Everton fans have certainly made their feelings pretty clear towards Morgan Schneiderlin at times from last season. Big 45 minutes on for him. Our regular listener Robin out in Brazil has been in touch on @TalkSport Live and says, as a Liverpool fan, any red for an Everton player is okay by him. Keep it coming in to @TalkSport Live. Do let us know where in the world you are listening to the commentary here as well. Richarlison down the left hand side trying to bundle his way through, has actually won a corner here for his team. Paul's got some defending to do. They have struggled a bit with the high ball in this game
because of the down to 10 men. These set pieces take on a greater importance. They've got to make more use of them. You can see now, we was talking about Gylfi Sigurdsson's corners, they've taken him off and put Leighton Baines on, so it's a little bit of an outswinger now.
Baines' delivery, 3 around the penalty spot for Everton to aim for. Baines with it, over Keane. Richarlison flicks it back towards Ghana. It'll be picked up on the right hand side by Theo Walcott. Walcott back to Ghana. Being chased down by Ruben Neves back towards the halfway line, where Seamus Coleman has to be smart here. Finds a ball down the line. Walcott's offside, and it's a waste of an opportunity for Everton down that right wing.
It is, but it's good to see that Everton come out a little bit more. They're not just happy to sit back and soak up the pressure. They know that if they can get into wide areas, get it down to like Theo Walcott, put it in behind the full-backs, because there is space in behind those full-backs, and particularly on that left-hand side, Everton's right-hand side, behind Willy Bolly. He is comfortable. I'd like to see his heat map, see where he's been stood all game. It's very, very advanced.
Whether he's done particularly well when he's got in those positions is probably another question. We certainly have looked to capitalise territorially from those fullbacks coming forward. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Wolves 1, Everton 1 on Premier League Live. Everton down to 10 men. Jagielka sent off. Michael Keane winning the ball in the centre of the field with some real tenacity before Raul Jimenez could get there, but it couldn't be controlled on that far side. Nuno Espirito Santo, the manager of Wolves, has gone to get a rain jacket on. Understandably so. It really is tipping down here at Molineux. For the last 20 minutes or so, the rain has got progressively worse. I didn't bring a jacket today, I'm concerned. Probably on the halfway line. Carries it forward, chipped it over the top. Raul Jimenez has made a run. It's a nice move by Wolves. Back in play. Johnny to Hotta. Running at Coleman, running at Holgate. Coleman's done well to get his body in the way. He's gone to ground. Craig Pawson has given a soft free kick there against Diego Hotta, and you can hear what the home fans think of it.
It is a soft one, but Seamus Coleman does well. He just gets his body in between the ball and the man. As soon as he feels the contact from behind, it just goes over. It's interesting to see, though, that clearly Seamus Coleman had all of his shirt there. And that's in this day and age, that is a dangerous game to play, regardless of him being in control of the ball there.
Again, it'll keep coming up, and rightly so. If we did have the World Cup technology in place, could they have looked at that kind of decision? Could they have looked at Jagielka again? Want to make sure we're getting things right. It's the biggest and best league in the world, and we saw it work in the big competition. But they were too afraid to do it here. Wanted to do more testing instead.
I'm afraid to say that I've quite missed it.
I missed it, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
It did add to the occasion. It added to the drama. And if there's anything that the Premier League want, they want more drama. They want to add to that. Of course, it was down to the clubs. Was it 8-9 clubs that voted against it? Was it?
I was at an event with Mike Riley a couple of days ago, and basically he was the head of the referees, for those that don't know, and he was talking about that they wanted more testing. And he basically said it was almost like listening to England talking about why they always miss penalties. You can't replicate the situation, so it's hard to do it. But you should still probably practice anyway. You still probably do it anyway, and then you'll get better. It was so frustrating. Yeah, really unsatisfying answer.
Yeah, when we see it in the World Cup, over a short period of time, it did get better. It improved.
We'll come back as Richarlison has played a big diagonal ball towards Theo Walcott. Oh, and he just couldn't keep it in, Walcott. What a shame. That was a lovely ball by Richarlison. Must have been almost 60 yards, but it skidded off the surface and away from Walcott.
That's where the space is, though. If they can identify that, if they can get Richarlison just playing that ball over the top into that right-hand channel, lots of space in there where Theo Walcott might be able to have a little bit of joy and get down past Willie Bolly.
Bolly by the corner flag on the left-hand side with a big clearance. Poor touch by Schneiderlin. And they will come forward here. Wolves down the right-hand side. Overlapping run being made by Doherty. Bit of space for him. Runner on the far side. Oh, it's over the head of Raul Jimenez, who was in there. Costa and Hotta were up in support too. Still in possession though with Johnny down the left-hand side to Raul Jimenez. Sliding challenge by Cenk Tosun. Striker on striker. Breaks to Johnny. Behind him is Moutinho. Moutinho's cross. Will it ricochet to Costa? It's well read after a deflection from Pickford, who catches.
Do you know what? They worked it so well. They nicked the ball in midfield, got it out to the wide right, out to Doherty, and you're right, Jota and
Costa.
Costa, they dragged all the defenders across at the centre of goal. It left Jimenez at the back stick, and a better ball could have been met first time by Jimenez with his head. Would have been able to get a finish off.
Pickford took his time bringing that ball forward, giving Everton a breather once again. It's up towards Richarlison. One in the air by Doherty. Breaks back to Richarlison. Here's Garner. Lovely turn by Garner. Finds Schneiderlin. Baines will look back inside his own half to Michael Keane. Everton just want a little period of possession here, having not seen too much of it. Again, a good score for them is 1-1 in this current situation. They'll have something to protect here, and maybe they can capitalise on the break with the pace they have. Ball back with Pickford. Has gone long out to this near side. Richarlison again goes down unnecessarily. It's not an endearing characteristic there from Richarlison. Never getting a free kick for that.
So in situations like this, when the ball goes up along like that from Pickford, he's got a battle for it. He's got to try and get some. If he can try and challenge for the ball, he might go for a throw-in from the defender, and that gets them up the pitch and gets them a little bit more territory further up the field.
Here's Richarlison getting up the field, back towards Baines, whose first time ball in towards Ghana was overhit, intercepted by Moutinho, who fires it down the right-hand side. Costa looks to keep it in, but just couldn't do so that time. Helder Costa.
That looked a little bit of an iffy decision, but just going back to Jordan Pickford's, we used to see him putting everything into his kicks and launching it into an area, getting further up as far the pitches that he can. Has to be a little bit cuter now. They can't afford to give away cheap possession, so if there's a chance of dropping into somebody in midfield, if there's a chance of dropping into somebody's chest a little bit further up the pitch, he's got to try and do that, a little bit more feel with it.
Doesn't feel like that Cenk Tosun has done a great job dealing with those balls. A lot of them have gone towards Richarlison, to be fair, but neither of them really have held up any of those high balls.
No, it's not his game. He'll work hard, but physically and especially in the air, he's not going to win a lot against these three.
Here come Wolves once again. Johnny over the halfway line, left hand side, early cross, whipped towards the back post by Jota. Won't find Costa. Doherty recovers. Back to Costa again. Of Wolves by the corner flag, right hand side, up against Richarlison and Baines. Richarlison just caught Helder Costa there as he looked to play it back. No free kick. Throw in taken quickly. Cross by Moutinho, over everyone's head. Picked up by Johnny. Corner of the penalty area. Early cross, away by Keane. Ghana then challenging for the ball with Ruben Neves, who's won it and strikes it towards goal. It went up and down. Didn't get down enough from the Wolverhampton Wanderers goal scorer, and that'll be a goal kick to Everton.
Now we've seen that before. I mean, he just ball comes down to him. What's he, 30 yards out there, a little bit more. Not enough, like I said, not enough dip or swirl on the ball to take it underneath him.
It goes very high the way he strikes that ball, and it just somehow dies, doesn't it? It didn't do it enough there, but I've not seen too many who can strike a ball like that.
No, there's a lot of top spin on it. He sort of hits the ball a little bit further up the ball than you normally would, just so it gets that dip a bit further. But sometimes some players like that, they're better off shooting further away from goal than they are maybe closer. It gives it a chance for the ball to get that movement up and down.
Approaching an hour gone. Everton around the back here. Cenk Tosun with the shot. Saved to his left by Rui Patricio. He was bundling his way forwards, Cenk Tosun, and it just broke kindly for him. Took the early shot. Was on target. Patricio read it well.
Yeah, Willy Bolly getting his pocket picked on the edge of his own box there. Gives it away cheaply. Cenk Tosun does everything right. Defender's coming across from his left. He's got that side of the goal to pick. There's no fooling Rui Patricio. He's deep in his goal. Gets across to it easy. Puts out for a corner.
Corner out on that right hand side. Leighton Baines given a warm ovation by the Everton fans who take up that thinner lower tier on the stand opposite us. Four men around the penalty spot again for Baines to aim for. Keane peels away. Here he is now, Michael Keane. Won the header, trying to knock it into the path of Cenk Tosun. It was just over the head of the Everton striker, and that goes for a goal kick.
Again, not particularly a dangerous ball, just putting an area on the edge of that 6-yard box. Michael Keane holds his ground, tries to direct it back across goal, that backstick area where Cenk Tosun is, but it just goes over his head. Unfortunate.
Always odd when it rains like this, because we weren't quite expecting a downpour. It makes me think of a wedding. All bets are off at this point. No one can go outside. It's all over, and it might be all over here for Everton. Ball is played through to Raul Jimenez, and he struck it straight at Jordan Pickford, who got out well. Striker though with a poor finish. Still Wolves come forward down the left hand side. Otto with the cross. Pickford's dealt with it at the near post. There was three at the back, and Pickford's got a word for his defenders, who didn't stop the cross as well.
Yeah, it was a late decision. Mason Holgate trying to play offside. Should have just went with the run of Jimenez. Ball goes through. You can see that as it's coming through, Jordan Pickford just slips, makes him hold his position. It's done him a favour actually. If he comes out of that, it makes it an easier finish for Jimenez. But he's able to just stand up, spread himself and block. Great save in the end.
Might be more work to do here for Jordan Pickford as we approach 60 minutes gone on Premier League Live. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Don't forget you can download the Premier League preview show every Thursday ahead of a Premier League weekend. Just search for it and you will find it. It is available on talksport.com and through the various TalkSport apps. Here comes Ruben Neves, 45 yards from goal, chips it towards Raul Jimenez. Overhit towards the Mexican. Pickford once again has his hands on the ball.
He started the second half very well. Even after that incident where he makes a save, ball's fizzed across at the 6-yard box. He gets down well to it, holding on the ball. In these conditions, no save, no cross, no ball at all come here is an easy save.
Certainly not with these conditions, and the rain just seems to be in Jordan Pickford's face a little bit, coming from left to right as we're looking. Wonder whether Wolves, with the technical players they have, might start firing in a few shots on the Everton keeper. Good play there by the Toffees under pressure. Holgate, Baines and Keane able to play the ball around the back line. It's risky, but they haven't just pumped the ball forward and given it back to Wolves. They've kept in possession. Mason Holgate, right centre half, has, after all that hard work, done the exact thing they didn't want to do and has pumped it out of play.
I know they spent a lot of money last year and they've got a lot of financial backing now, Everton, through machinery, but has there ever been an 8th place finish, the club finish in 8th place, and the fans have been so unsatisfied with that? I mean, that's what comes with football these days, because the high price of going to watch football, the expectation is more. People want more for the money. They want entertainment.
Mate, some of those performances from last year, the reason they finished 8th and Leicester finished 9th, and those finishes were so damning of the teams below them, because they were both at times absolutely awful. And Burnley finishing 7th, they barely won a game in 2018.
It's brilliant for Burnley, obviously it is, but it's a damning indictment of the teams finishing below them.
This season is not going to be like last season. The likes of Wolves won't allow that to happen. Everton can't afford to let it happen again. Looking at West Ham, looking at Fulham as well, who lost today, but they'll have high ambitions. Crystal Palace kept Wilfried Zaha, new contract for Roy Hodgson, and they were fantastic at Craven Cottage today for a 2-0 win.
Brilliant result.
Brilliant performance as well from the ever unfancied and oft underestimated Crystal Palace. Elsewhere today, Bournemouth beat Cardiff by 2-0. Chelsea were 3-0 winners at Huddersfield. Tottenham won away at Newcastle by 2-1. And Watford picked up a 2-0 victory over Brighton and Hove Albion. We are back with you tomorrow, of course, in the Premier League with some more fantastic games. Early it's Liverpool against West Ham. That's 1:30 UK time. Our feature game later in the day is Arsenal against Manchester City. Also live commentary for our digital partners of Southampton against Burnley.
I was just about to say that is a Super Sunday until you said Southampton Burnley. I was going to... Apologies to Southampton Burnley fans.
Well, it'll be interesting to see Danny Ings up against his former team, for his boyhood team. I think that's a fantastic signing for Southampton, Danny Ings.
Yeah, it is, as long as he stays fit, and we all hope he does, of course.
Maybe not Burnley for tomorrow. Saw a video of him this morning smacking him in the top corner in training for Southampton. He'd been there for about 20 minutes. It's exactly the signing they needed. Of course, transfer window closing before the season got underway for the first time, somewhat controversially on Thursday. Everton doing plenty of business, but the likes of Yerry Mina, Bernard, not in the matchday squad today. Soon or another. I'm
looking forward to seeing Yerry Mina. Like I said before, he's a lot criticised by people saying that he's not a great footballer, not a great defender. There's a reason why Barcelona want rid of him, but I think between him and Davinson Sanchez, they've come up with a great partnership for Colombia. They've played a long time together through the youth systems, through the youth teams. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do at Everton.
And they will be seeing him next week for Everton. Of course, you can hear every single game of their season with us and our broadcast partners around the world. It's Southampton up next for them, followed by a trip to Bournemouth and Huddersfield at home. So easier test than this. They're coming forward now, though. Ball towards the back post. Knocked back by Richarlison. Theo Walcott is there, but it just kind of bounced under his calf and he couldn't get a shot away. It's a great ball from Cenk Tosun, and a good win by Richarlison as well. Everton not buried yet.
That's what he gives you on that far side, Richarlison. He's got a bit of physical presence, good in the air, gets that ball across the back of 6-yard box. It's just a little bit behind Theo Walcott. He just can't wrap his foot around it.
Danger signs there for Wolves. They're got a man advantage. They've got a man more than Everton with Jagielka sent off, but there's still plenty of Premier League talent wearing Everton shirts out there that can really threaten if they get the chance. Neves has given it away sloppily to Idrissa Gana. Good challenge though, gets Wolves back on the ball. Broke to Coleman, then Bolly got in strong. Coleman's out of possession and Wolves are streaking forward down the left hand side. Potter with the carry, finds a ball in field. Poor touch by Doherty, but he recovers. Finds Costa on the right-hand side. Crossed by Costa, away by Keane. Richarlison back defending, but it's broken to Neves. Good challenge by Richarlison on Neves before he could strike it. Neves has stayed down. Theo Walcott looking to break. He's got round his man on the right-hand side. Theo Walcott carrying towards the halfway. It's infield to Gylfi Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson out left. Baines forward. Everton now are over the halfway line. In towards the feet of Richarlison. Runs into Costa. Baines there to help him out, but another good challenge by Helder Costa. Sees the ball ricochet back to Doherty. Cleared upfield by Ryan Bennett. Out of play by Ryan Bennett. And when Wolves press forward, the gap's open for Everton and vice versa.
Yeah, they do, but Matty Doherty, he got strode forward with the ball. And even, you're right, it was a bad touch out of his feet, but it ended up being a great touch, and I thought he could have went on to strike that ball. He was only 25 yards from goal.
Throwing to Everton, midway inside the Wolves half. 67 minutes gone. Wolves 1, 10-man Everton 1. Here's Richarlison, found by Tosun. Oh, what a goal by Richarlison. The £50 million man strikes again for the 10-man Toffees. Shifts the ball inside and delicately, delightfully passes that ball into the bottom corner. Wolves 1, 10-man Everton 2.
Do you know what? I won't be mentioned as an error, but as soon as you, as a defender, you let Richarlison bring that ball inside on his right foot there, you're asking for trouble. And he bends the ball superbly, not just around the defenders, but round the left hand of Rui Patricio, and there's no way he can get to the ball. Brilliant finish.
Absolutely fantastic from Richarlison. Loves playing for Marco Silva. It's a magnificent finish. It's right in the side of the net.
And I tell you what, it's from that throwing routine. Ruben Neves has got Richarlison. As soon as the ball's laid back to Leighton Baines, he just lets him run off the back of him. And by the time he turns and runs back to try and pick him up again, it's far too late. He's in the box and he's finished it off.
Hadn't scored in 2018, hadn't scored since November. Richarlison back with Marco Silva, back on the score sheet, not once but twice. Two very different sorts of goals, both vital for his new team Everton. 68 minutes on the clock. Wolves 1, Everton 2. Premier League Live.
That first goal, it was obviously a simple tap in for him. Repays some of the outlay that Everton have paid for him, but that second goal is pure class. That's why they've paid as much money as they have for him.
What have Wolves got in response? It's been a tough old welcome back to the Premier League for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Always difficult to face an unknown quantity on the opening weekend of the season. Richarlison, the only man of the new buyers in the Everton team. And he's found the back of the net twice. Maybe the little spark that the Toffees were missing last season when they finished that campaign so limply, so lifelessly under Big Sam Allardyce.
That's the one thing that Wolves have got against them in this Premier League this season, simply because there's been that much noise about them and people saying positive things about them. Nobody's going into the games thinking, oh, we'll wait and see what happens. They know they're a threat. They're ready for them. You know, there's no 5-10 games waiting to see how they'll set up and how they'll cope with the Premier League.
And that might not help them, because sometimes teams from the Championship are underestimated. They take advantage. We've seen Cardiff do that in history. We've seen Huddersfield do it last season.
Listen, Leicester City took people by surprise, and before people took them seriously, they were on the way to winning the league. So you know, you can't do that. And Wolves, like I said, because of all the noise around them, people are thinking, well, we've got to be up today. If we're not up for it today, then they're going to hurt us.
Plenty of football still to be played, and they do have those options on the bench as well, don't they? Wolverhampton Wanderers, some classy footballers to come on. Leo Bonatini could potentially come on. Up front, there's another body up there, scored goals in the Championship for them. There are a couple of other talented players on that bench as well, as Bolly's got caught in his own area again. Good pressure by Walcott and Cenk Tosun. Back heel towards Coleman. Cut back towards Walcott. Intercepted by Johnny. Someone's got to have a word with Willy Bolly, taking too many risks inside his own penalty area. There he is now, stepping across Garner by the corner flag, has won it back, and this time he clips it down the line.
He might look ungainly, but you've got to give this to Willy Bolly. He fancies himself as a footballer, doesn't he?
More defending to do here by Bolly. Sliding challenge, stops that through ball by Coleman, but again it's Idrissa Garner having a fabulous game, stepping across to get Everton back on the ball, but a free kick given against Cenk Tosun for a previous challenge.
Yeah, it's going to become a problem for Willy Bolly if he doesn't come up to speed. If he doesn't realise that this, if he thinks the championship, it appears the championship's going to be frightening.
Held Acosta going off. Sorry, David. Held Acosta coming off, and it is going to be Bonatini to come on to replacing the Brazilian striker on loan last season, permanently a Wolves player now. Probably a bit more of a central player, but whether he goes out on a slightly wider position alongside Raul Jimenez, we'll certainly see in the next few minutes. Seems to have gone right up through the centre with Jimenez either alongside him, maybe a little 3-5-2 they're playing now. Maybe they'll push Diego Jota into a different position. We'll certainly see in the next few minutes.
This is the one good thing about Nuno Espirito Santo. He's very adaptable. We talked about his time at Porto. He did go to a 4-4-2 when he went direct. Perhaps that's what he'll do in this case.
Wolves looking to pick the pocket of Everton, who are leading by 2-1. Chip forward towards Raul Jimenez, intercepted by the header of Michael Keane, and Everton clear it away. A bit frantically that time. 18 minutes to go, it's too early for that from Everton. Wolves coming forward. João Moutinho into Raul Jimenez. Return ball to Bonatini in the penalty area, right hand side. Mason Holgate went to ground. Mason Holgate won the ball, goes for a corner on the right.
Of course, you had to time that perfectly, and you just think in those situations when you go to ground, it's a bit of a gamble, but Bonatini just saw it out of play.
Good sliding challenge there by Holgate in the end, but a risky one in the penalty area in the rain. Away from home with no video assistant referee. Corner on the right. Moutinho with it. Good delivery too, and it's away by Keane again, who's won almost everything in the air today for Everton. Neves turns it forward. Walloped upfield by Everton. Schneiderlin with the maybe lack of composure there. There was no one around him really, no one forward. Just pumps it upfield. Plenty of his teammates won't thank him for that. Wolves will. They're back on the ball. Over the halfway line, left-hand side. Ball being brought forward by Ruben Neves. Right to Moutinho. Down the right channel to Doherty. Moutinho again. Good chip round the back towards Doherty. Richarlison is with him, as is Keane, who steps across, and that's really good play by one of the big summer signings of last year, Michael Keane. Chips it down the line, looking for Tosun. Wants a free kick, and I think he's going to get one as well. Bennett kind of cut him off. Tosun complained. The ball was nowhere near him though. I can see why Wolves fans are a bit frustrated by that.
Yeah, just a bit of a wrestling match.
Tried to turn him.
Yeah, he just hold him back, puts his arm around and holds him back, so it's supposed as a free kick. And just going back to Michael Keane, I think it's a great point you make there. Today he's getting back to the Burnley Michael Keane, simplifying his game, defending first, put his head on the ball, and then showing a little bit of class by stepping across and just keeping hold of the ball there for cutting up the long ball. So it's back to the old Burnley Michael Keane for him.
It's been a big job for him since Phil Jagielka was sent off. Well, change actually. I think you notice this when substitutions are happening now. It's not the responsibility of the fourth official anymore. It's done by someone from the technical staff of each club. So when they want to make a change, they don't have to go through by the fourth official. So I'm not sure who gets the job. Maybe the kit man or something.
I'm not sure. Maybe the fourth official's there just for the manager to shout at, I think.
Well, now they're there to help the referee and not to help them with the substitutions. That's their business, say the referees. And so far, no one's got anything wrong on the board that I've noticed, but it will happen, I'm sure, at some point this season. Garner stayed down here after a strong challenge to try and win the ball back. Wolves play on, and that is only right because it's not a head injury, and they're coming forward here down the left-hand side. Jota and Johnny combining. It's Diego Jota cutting inside. Back towards Neves, couldn't shoot, finds Moutinho. He won't go for it either. Doherty picks it up. Garner is now back up, back defending. Doherty back on the left boot. Crosses in, it's away from the head of Coleman. Volley towards goal. It's sat beautifully there for Jota. never quite got hold of it, and it flies over the top.
Matty Doherty out on the right hand side just lacks that little bit of quality, a good defender. When he gets the opportunity to get the ball out wide, especially when he comes back on his left foot like that, he's already got the players in the box, they've already made their runs. When he cuts back on his left foot, it's impossible for them to change the direction and make a second run again, so he needs to put that ball in first time if he can.
Another change coming up here for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Making just a couple of substitutions here to freshen things up, to try and get themselves in this game. Johnny has gone off on that far side. Ruben Vinagre is on. Another one of the new faces here at Wolverhampton Wanderers for the final 15 minutes here. Another Portuguese player just goes straight into that position, left wing back kind of role. Maybe Johnny just struggling with a bit of lack of freshness, lack of fitness maybe, and the teenager is on in that position.
I think it's 600 minutes on loan last season, part of the under-19 squad that was Portugal that won the Euros.
Interesting how so many have completed a move here permanently, having been on loan here. It does occasionally happen, but usually not wholesale.
No, but I think if they've got an idea that they're going to come to the club long term, it's good to get them in for 6 months or a season or so and let them sort of acclimatise to the club and to the football. And really, I know there've been a lot of complaints about what's happened with Wolves and it's kind of financial dope, but they're doing it the right way. Why wouldn't you do it?
Coming forward down the right hand side, good pass to Doherty, volley towards goal by Raul Jimenez, blocked well by Michael Keane again, standing tall, standing strong, standing firm and blocking the shot.
Doing exactly what your defenders want to do, just putting himself in front of the ball, no danger of handball, and if he wasn't there, a block could have caused Jordan Pickford all sorts of problems in this weather.
You know what he does well there, which I can't stand when defenders do, he didn't turn his back, he stood up, he took it in the chest, watched the ball. Very good defending there for Michael Keane. Matinho with this corner for another good win. This time it's Mason Holgate with the header. Works out to the left hand side where Ruben Vinagre can look to deliver. It's well blocked by Coleman. Wolves man regains possession again, knocks it back to Cody. Cody just ahead of him on the floor to Ruben Neves, well chased down though by Cenk Tosun. Will this ball spin back into the path of the Everton man? It will. Really good play, and then an awful pass through to Ghana, who looked to make up the ground when he fired it some 40 yards ahead of him. Thanks very much indeed, Cenk Tosun.
It is a brilliant opportunity. He does well to close the Cleveland's down, regains possession. And then he's just got to wait for Richarlison, who's backing him up.
Only as far as João Matinho opted to pass to Doherty instead. Cross deflected away by the head of Mason Holgate. Picked up again by Ruben Neves. Couldn't shoot, just didn't get the angle. Worked out left. Bolly will find Vinagre right on the edge of their penalty area. Wolves looking to find the space. Ruben Neves dribbling from left to centre. Ball towards Doherty, well intercepted by Leighton Baines. They've tried it a lot. This time Baines read it. Richarlison just pumps it upfield. Cody controls well, gets Wolves back on the front foot. They've got to do Wolves 1, Everton 2 on Premier League Live. Richarlison scoring twice for Everton. Ruben Neves with the free kick to level things up on 44. Either side of those Richarlison goals. Oh, lovely slip down the left channel to Bonatini. Will pick it up. Back towards his fellow substitute on the left-hand side, Vinagre. He wants a release ball now. Neves with the cross towards the head of Raul Jimenez, and it's a debut goal of superb quality from the big Mexican striker. What a ball on his head, and in the rain at Molineux there were no chance there for any defender or Everton goalkeeper to stop that ball flying in the top corner. 10 minutes remaining, it's 2-2.
They've been probing, they've been putting them balls in the box, but that's the first bit of quality they've been getting in the second half. They've found a little bit of quality, just turning on his right foot, floating the ball into the box. It's Ruben Neves just floating that ball into the back stick area. And Raul Jimenez just gets that faintest of touches down into the bottom of the left-hand corner of Jordan Pickford's goal.
First time Michael Keane's been unable to deal with the ball in the box. What a ball it was by Ruben Neves. It's spinning in the air, it's got brilliant pace on it. perfectly into the path of the striker, and Pickford, well, he had absolutely no chance, and Molineux erupts once again. Twice they've been behind, and twice they've levelled things up against the Premier League stalwarts of Everton.
Well, you're totally right about the quality of that ball. You know, it comes into the box high, but it's got so much dip on it. It doesn't give Michael Keane a chance to be able to defend the ball. It just takes him totally out of the game. Jimenez just pulls off and gets a lovely head at that back stick. They've took a chance, you know, because they've pushed they've pushed Bolly on, they've pushed Ryan Bennett on. So really they've been 1v1 at the back. They've left Conor Cody 1v1 at the back. They took a real big chance, but they've overloaded those wide areas, and it's paid off.
Everton have made a change. Umani Ass has come on for Zheng Tosun for the final 10 minutes here. Fresh legs up front. Everton might be down to 10 men. They're still very much getting a point from this game they deserve, I'd say, on the balance of their performance across the 90 or the 80 as we've had so far. Ball down the right hand side in the air from Coleman towards Walcott. Walcott couldn't get hold of it. Coleman retrieves the loose ball. What a fantastic game of football this has been to end this Premier League day. Saturday full of goals and drama. Of course, we had Friday night football as well. Manchester United picking up victory against Leicester. Haven't we missed the Premier League? Nias heads on to nowhere. Patricio has it. Wolves back in possession.
You know, much was made of Marco Silva's away record, especially when he's at Hull, and you can see why his teams struggle to win games away from home, because twice they've been up in this game, down to 10 men, and you think they would just solidify and just try and hold on to that, but credit to them, they've come out and play, and they've tried to take advantage of any holes that Wolves have left. But sometimes you can't guard against quality like that.
Fantastic delivery, fantastic performance from Ruben Neves, the man who took the championship by storm. He's also finding the Premier League a bit of a breeze as well, scoring one, assisting the other. An absolute superstar in the making, doing the business for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Good defending here by Leighton Baines, stopping the runner coming through on the edge of his own area. Good ball to Nias upfield, finds Richarlison with a superb first-time pass. Richarlison bearing down on goal. Ryan Bennett goes to ground and wins it back for Wolves. And now the Wanderers are at the other end, trying to score a winner with 7 minutes remaining. Vinagre finds the ball out left to Jota. Up against Schneiderlin, up against Coleman. Two Wolves players combining. Good skill by Vinagre, but Coleman is having none of it. Slams that door shut, brings Everton clear. Up to Nias. Good turn away from Bolly. Lovely touch away from Cody as well. And he's found Coleman, and Everton are 2 against 1. If Coleman can find Nias. Oh, he's overhit the cross. Nias at the back post to tap it in. And doesn't Seamus Coleman just know it?
To be fair, Omar Nias does brilliant in 2 situations, this being the second one. Gets the ball, he holds it well, touches it past Conor Cody, the 2v1 now. Seamus Coleman's got to go inside a little bit to draw the defender out, making an easier pass. That said, as soon as his foot goes back, Nias has just got to make a beeline, just slide in there, just to get something on it, get anything on it, just to take it over the line.
Jean Martinho going off after an impressive debut in the Premier League, replaced by Morgan Gibbs-White for Wolverhampton Wanderers. At the last change they're going to be able to make, and actually Everton going to need to make a change here. Richarlison has gone down after 2 goals on debut. He seems to be feeling something in the right leg, and he's going to have to go off as well. Yeah, that is a bit of a shame for Richarlison, isn't it?
It is, but you know what? I think it makes sense now, because it gives him a chance to bring Lucas Digne on, and he could just show up that left-hand side, and also give a little bit of quality going forward as well, because he's got a good left foot on him.
2 goals on debut in the Premier League. The first Everton player to score a brace on Premier League debut since Joe back in February 2009. He did it against Bolton Wanderers back then. Richarlison leaving the field of play. Really good performance from him. Really impressed by everything he put together today. A couple of silly dives aside. He's walking off, so hopefully he will be alright, and it will be. Everton debut for the man they see as the long-term successor to the veteran Leighton Baines. Lucas Digne is on. One of the big money summer signings for Marco Silva. £18 million, rising to £19.3 million from Barcelona. Defending to do for him now, as Wolves get us back underway down the left-hand side.
Do you think Richarlison's done enough for a man of the match?
I certainly think it's been very, very impressive. I think the match is to be won, so I'm happy to hold it for 4 more minutes. Fantastic from Ruben Neves. Michael Keane's been very impressive. It's been a great game of football with some top performances, and it's there to be won for both of these teams. I've got to say, I think the referee's done a pretty good job as well. Big decisions to make, brave enough to send off Phil Jagielka. Whether you think it was a red or not, there's a debate to be had for either, and he stood firm to it, made the bold decision. You've got to give him that. Craig Pawson sent off just before half-time. Crucial moment in this game. Wolves coming forward, right-hand side. Morgan Gibbs-White, young English talent out there for Wolverhampton Wanderers, an England under-18 international, academy product since the age of 8. And you talk about all the investment, all the money coming in, all the international players, and there's an English teenager out in the middle.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, we've got British players in Connor Cody. We've got Matt Doherty on the right hand side, so they're not just filling them with foreign players for the sake of it. You know, they realise the talent they've got there as well, and they will use it.
3 minutes of normal time remaining. 2-2. Wolves Everton, Premier League Live. Ball down the right hand channel to Jimenez, but he is offside. Whips it across. Not sure he should have done that there, because it just wastes more time, and that's something Everton will want, not something Wolves will want. He's a couple of yards offside, running off the shoulder of Leighton Baines, who's chugging away out there, the 33-year-old veteran. Another man who's really impressive today, Leighton Baines.
Yeah, like I said, he looks invigorated with the signing of Lucas Digne. Possibly something that he needed to push him on, and they might even make sure that, you know, the next couple of years are successful for him. That's what in a manager situation like Marco Silva is. He's in a no-lose situation, simply because, you know, if Digne plays well, that's great, but if he pushes on to Leighton Baines and makes him play better, win-win.
Ball just lumped over the top by Raul Jimenez. Coleman's won the first ball, Holgate won the second, but not impressively. And Hotta's got it now, dribbling his way forward, trying to find the gap. Diego Hotta couldn't find any space between the two central defenders, and Idrissa Gana dove in to try and win it back, and did win it back. It's up towards Oumar Niasse, and this time his ball towards Theo Walcott was behind the former England international. It's out of play, and Wolves are back on the ball again.
Can we call Theo Walcott a former international?
I think it's fair to say. I think if you're not in the most recent England squad, you're a former England international. I look forward to his return.
Perhaps X, that would have been a bit harsher.
Okay, we'll mull that over.
Yeah, maybe I'll go with former, yeah, I'll let you know.
Once in future, is that better? Chip down the left-hand side, trying to find Bonatini. Good challenge by Mason Holgate. Been impressive since coming on as well. Mason Holgate, right centre half next to Michael Keane. Throw in, but the Everton fans on that far side don't want to give the ball back to Wolves. They are praying for a point from this game at Molineux, which they will be getting if things stay as they are. Throw in towards Diego Hotta, towards Vinagre, running into a bit of trouble. Still got it there, Wolves, fired cross, he's headed away by Michael Keane. Wolves back on it, approaching 90 minutes here. Is there to be a final dramatic winning moment for Wolves on their return to the Premier League? Or will Everton be able to steal the 3 points? 10 men for the entire second half they've had. Marco Silva's team, ball played through there towards the runner, Gibbs White, but it's overhit and bounces through to Jordan Pickford. Pickford with the throw, out left to Keane. Keane back to Pickford again. Didn't get the ball out of his feet, but he has chipped it upfield. Neves wins the header, breaks to Doherty on the halfway line. 90 minutes are now up here at Molineux. Again, they try the chip ball from centre to left, and again it bounces through harmlessly to Jordan Pickford. 4 minutes added on at the end of the 90 here at Molineux, our final game of this Premier League Saturday, where we've seen late drama in other games. We've seen surprising wins, maybe nothing as high quality as this game we're seeing here though. But Wolves still looking for a winner. Great challenge there by Coleman. Gets Everton back on the ball in the centre circle. Up to Niasse, back to Garner, left to Leighton Baines over the halfway line. Do they want a winner, Everton? It's the opening weekend, why not? Get yourselves forward. Garner, left to Baines. Back inside, around the halfway to Garner. Into Morgan Schneiderlin. Back to Garner again. Down the left-hand channel. Baines is round the back of the full-back here. Baines into the penalty area towards Digne. Niasse rather took it off him. Back to Baines again. And he tried to cut it back to Digne, but it was under-hit by Baines. Digne dives in. Should be a free kick. Is a free kick. Oh, it was just for a second on there for Everton.
For all the great play this afternoon, for all the fast passing and quick breaks, there's been some sloppiness as well, hasn't there? You know, there's been some great opportunities for teams. They're getting great positions, and then just a sloppy pass just makes a breakdown. But I just think that's Omar Niasse as well. You know, somebody who's impressed when he's come on. He's given a couple of balls away, but he does look a threat when he gets the ball into feet.
Still plenty of time for a winner for Wolverhampton Wanderers back in the Premier League after 6 years away. No one has left Molineux early today, despite the rain, despite the wind. They can sense a big finish on here, and so can we, and it could still go either way. 2-2 on Premier League Live. Ball with Ruben Neves in the centre circle, left to Bolly. Everton certainly targeting him when he's got the ball. Niasse chasing him down, but it comes into the centre and Cody. Good diagonal ball out right. Finds Doherty into Raul Jimenez. Looks for Bonatini. Bonatini in the area. Holgate stands him up really well. Crosses blocked by Holgate. Breaks to Wolves once again. Good play by Ryan Bennett. Volleys the ball back to Doherty. Forward now to Gibbs White. Controls in a very tight space. Challenged well though by the veteran Leighton Baines. Down the left hand side to Oumar Niasse. Controls it well. Challenged by Cody. That's going to be a throw into Wolves, is it? Yes it is. Cody wants to take it quickly. Allowed to do so. Niasse is moaning, and while he's doing that, the ball's been thrown over his head. And now Wolves have got it again in the centre circle with Ruben Neves. Neves left to Bolly. Bolly to Hotta. Good challenge on him by Schneiderlin. Good play by the Everton man. And then Diego Hotta has pulled down Morgan Schneiderlin. Free kick given for the Everton midfielder. And seems to be faking a little bit of cramp as well to take a bit of time, and that kind of shows you that Everton are happy to get out of Molineux with a point here.
Yeah, it's going to be a strange feeling for them, really. You know, down to 10 men, on paper you'd think they'd be grateful of the draw, but being ahead twice and not being able to hang on to it, it'll be frustrating for them. But on the other side of it, I think Nuno Espirito Santo will be a little bit disappointed that it took his team twice to go behind before they can take advantage of that one man advantage, obviously.
30 seconds of additional time remaining. Pickford down the right touchline, trying to find Theo Walcott down that side, headed off the field of play. Throw in to Everton, which Seamus Coleman's in no rush to take. Wolves win possession back on the edge of their own penalty area. Cody outright will find Ryan Bennett. Will they pump it forward? There's still a little bit of time left, and there's a man over on the left-hand side in Vinagre. Finds Hotta, who controls on the chest and volleys it goal. Always flying high from Diego Hotta. And that is the final act of what has been a fantastic return to the Premier League for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Twice they trailed against Everton. Richarlison on 17 minutes. Ruben Neves with a free kick on 44, levelling things up. Jagielka sent off in the awarding of that free kick, which was converted. Richarlison again for the 10-man Toffees before a header late on from Raul Jimenez, giving Wolverhampton Wanderers a share of the spoils. Wolves' first game back in the Premier League. Defending to do here for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and it's the £50 million man Richarlison who opens the scoring in this match for Everton. The referee's actually given a free kick against Phil Jagielka, and he's given a red card against Phil Jagielka. Well, it was a miscontrol by the Everton captain. He lunged forward to challenge for the loose ball. He did win the ball, but the referee thinks that must be violent conduct. A wonderful striker of the football. It'll be Ruben Neves with the free kick.